So our first session for today is managing culture and marketing in times of social change. For this session, we have Guy Harkless, Senior Vice President and General Manager at Eastbay Champs, and he's interviewed by Mckee, VP of Marketing at AboveBoard. We are thrilled to have Foot Locker here for two reasons. One, Foot Locker has proven their commitment to the Black community by committing $200 million over 5 years. But also, and more importantly, the company went through a big transformation to become more mission-driven. And we think that there's a lot that can be learned from this. So this session was pre-recorded, and we're excited to share it with you today.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am thrilled to introduce someone that is going to speak with us generally about this topic today. His name is Guy Harkless, and he currently serves as the Senior Vice President and General Manager of Champ Sports and Eastbay at Foot Locker. He's been with that company since 2015, and he's going to talk to us a little bit today about managing marketing in times of great cultural change. Guy, can you give us a little bit more background? Anything else you think you'd like for the audience to know about you or your career path?
Yeah, Naeem, thank you very much. I mean, certainly it's been a great, little more than 5-year run on the Foot Locker side. So I had an opportunity to join Foot Locker in 2015, as you've mentioned. Joined the company as the head of corporate strategy, working out of New York for the first couple of years, which was a great opportunity for me to kind of lean in from my experience on the branded side in terms of the sporting goods market, which is where I spent a large amount of my early part of the career. And then had an opportunity within Foot Locker to lead our division up in Canada as the head of Foot Locker Canada. And then most recently have jumped in the midpoint of this year to lead our Champs and Eastbay businesses, which are two tremendous businesses that are part of the overall Foot Locker Inc. portfolio.
Okay. Well, great. Well, let's just go right ahead and jump into it. I think this is a really, I think sports apparel and the retail wing of that is a really interesting topic for us to explore. We have been in the midst of an unprecedented year, right? A tragic year with the outbreak of the global pandemic of COVID-19, which is just reshaping how we think about our businesses and quite frankly, how customers live their day-to-day lives. One area that I was really interested in with regards to Eastbay, right, and even with Champs, where you have an actual brick and mortar footprint, and with Eastbay, where you're working with sports teams. How have you guys handled the unprecedented challenge of this year, where teams are maybe not participating in sports, where consumers have been in lockdown? And what ways have you adjusted just to deal with this environment?
Yeah, I mean, certainly that's a great question. Certainly across Foot Locker Inc., we've had to be, very agile in terms of how we operate our business. So we lean pretty heavily across our overall business to lean into the e-com side of the multi-channel offense and making sure that we were getting after and leveraging the opportunities around our e-com business. And we put a lot of new capability in as we've gone throughout the year. So making sure that we thought through kind of health and safety standards for our physical stores and working through the environment and managing that in a way that didn't put any of our associates and certainly our customers at risk in any way, shape, or form has been something that we've done. And then certainly leaning into some new capabilities. So you've heard about things like buy online, pick up in store. So making sure that we're driving the connectivity between the online world and the offline world. So allowing customers to go and make a purchase essentially through a mobile device or through our site, but also be able to pick it up at the store environment has been something that we've gotten after. And then particularly on the Eastbay side, as I think through Eastbay, certainly we do a tremendous amount of our business that's either connected to high school teams, which in a lot of places, high school teams aren't performing right now. So we've had to figure out how to still kind of leverage the business. But by the same token, you also have a lot of individuals, myself included, that are working out kind of on their own with at-home workouts. So we've had an opportunity to market directly to those customers that are looking for an opportunity to kind of leverage into our performance offering from an Eastbay perspective to get after that. And certainly the Champs part of the house connects in there as well. So we've been adaptive. I think everyone in retail has had to find a way to be adaptive in the environment that we're in. And certainly, knock on wood, we hope that we're back to a more normal operating environment as we start to get into 2021.
So 2020 was truly an unprecedented year. The challenge of COVID-19, coupled with tremendous social and cultural upheaval. this really has driven a shift in the cultural landscape of America itself, something that athletics is very familiar with. It's always been at the forefront of this type of social change, whether that was Jackie Robinson with regards to integration, all the way up to Colin Kaepernick and his response to police brutality, and really reaching an inflection point in 2020 with the murder of George Floyd. It's become apparent that athletes and brands have taken a true stance with regards to the events of this year. And for athletic apparel companies like yourself, this has presented some challenges. How has your company responded to the phenomenal challenges of a shifting cultural environment with regards to race and the dynamics of this conversation as it's taking place currently?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's interesting times. There's no doubt about that. And certainly with all the social justice movement that has been going on for quite some time, as you've mentioned it, whether it's around the George Floyd situation, Ahmaud Arbery or Breonna Taylor, which certainly sparked a lot of interest from the community, which is ongoing. I mean, certainly we as a retailer certainly have a position. We know that we are connected deeply in the communities in which we serve, and we certainly know that we've got an employment brand where we've got our own internal associates that are quite interested in what's happening out there in the broader marketplace. So we've done a number of things. And one of the things that we certainly we did as an organization is that we made a pretty big announcement over the summer about an overall 5-year plan that we wanted to get after. That was our overall social justice initiative. It is a $200 million commitment to the Black community over 5 years. And we think that this will be an opportunity for us to lean in, provide our opportunity to get in and help spark change, not only in the broader community, but also what we do internally. And we've kind of thought about it very intentionally in terms of where we felt we could specifically provide a point of view that would be particularly prescient in the environment we're in now. So we layered into 2 areas. One is on education, which we think is a huge area where you see significant education gaps that have been ongoing for a number of years. We certainly see a number of economic gaps that have been there for quite some time in the Black community that are part and parcel of the overall effort. What you do specifically see around that is you see a lot of the athletes that we work with kind of leading the conversation that's happening in the marketplace, whether it's a LeBron James and some of the things that he said specifically, whether it's working with organizations like the NBA that have been very intentional on some of the things that they did in the summertime. We're deeply engaged in that conversation as well. And we think that we can do some things that are very unique around this overall effort to get after the opportunity. So we provide a voice. We provide a voice to our customer. We provide a voice to the marketplace that we know is very important in terms of staying true, staying aligned, and being at the forefront of some of the things that are very, very important to the customer, to the marketplace, to the world at large in terms of the things that we're getting after, which is part of our overall effort as an organization.
That's extremely interesting, right? And your brand has, I mean, this is not something new. Your brand has been deeply involved in the Black community and in the community and diverse communities they've served for some years. And it seems like it's made this investment goes beyond just sort of value signaling, or even, it's even, you're looking at the various vendors and you're looking at really all levels of your organization, right? And attacking this problem. Yeah.
So the overall initiative that we're putting into play is you said it right. It's an investment. It's not something that we want to be writing a check to somebody and figuring out that we're doing some sort of a charitable effort. Our goal is to be deeply invested and really to build what I would call as a sustainable platform about our entire business model, right? So it's about thinking through the operating model that we have as an organization and how we can use our operating model to be very intentional around bringing change. So it's, who do we buy from? Who are we connected with? How are we using our stores as a platform to engage in the community and connect deeply? It's all around all those things that we think are super important. So if I think about a lot of the efforts around the educational piece and the economic development piece, certainly we've been engaged as an organization for quite some time on things related to education. We've worked with various other partners, whether it's the United Negro College Fund, to do some things specifically in that specific space. And have been very intentional in working on that relationship and developing, I would say, good connectivity with an organization which has been around for a number of years, doing unbelievably good work. But we also want to think through things that are very important on the economic development side as well. So how do we use our business? Who are we buying from? Particularly with the biggest part of our business is that we work with a lot of brands, right? We spend a lot of money with a lot of brands. We sell to a lot of customers. But how can we think about bringing more Black-owned businesses and Black-owned brands into the equation in terms of our purchasing behavior? How can we also think about the other parts of our business, whether that's our supplier base, the general contractors that come in and help us build stores, whether it's thinking through one big, huge area of our business, which is thinking about how we invest in technology. Who are the technology partners that we're working with? Are we actually working with very intentionally other Black-owned businesses that are part of that? So it's a very strong ecosystem that we're trying to build across our overall business that would be really around making sure that it's not just here today and gone tomorrow. It's part of a sustainable platform that goes beyond the 5 years of the overall initiative, but really is something that's here to stay and be a part of our overall operating model moving forward.
Fantastic. So there's a lot of retail executives that are attending this conference and summit. And I think everyone every retail brand right now is trying to understand how to navigate, this shifting cultural landscape. With regards to your own organization, how did you go about doing this, right? Like for retail executives that are sort of maybe they're at a crossroads in their business where they're trying to manage through this change. They're trying to be more purposeful about some of their decisions. Is there any advice or any specific situational feedback you could give them?
Yeah, I think it's a great call. I mean, certainly our organization started to we've been in. I'd say first and foremost, this has been part of our overall business operation for a number of years. So we've changed our business model a number of years ago to think through how we can be more purpose-driven as an organization. So our mission statement changed 3-4 years ago. Actually, when I was involved in the strategy side of the business, one of the big bodies of work that we wanted to do as a total organization is how we can be more customer focused and think through the things that are super important to our customer and no longer be just thinking about the transactional relationship of our business as a retailer. But how can we be deeply embedded with the emotional connection with the customers that we serve and build a purpose-driven initiative that's part of our overall mission as an organization? So that started a number of years ago. As we think through what we're doing now, it's really part and parcel of kind of the evolution and enhancement of that purpose-driven intent that we've driven in as an organization. And this is one parcel of that overall effort. So I think it's important that you have a central core as a business that's really driven around something that is connected to a mantra that's important to your overall direction and particularly your customer. That you think through how to build authenticity in this. And I would say the third thing is that making sure that purpose is there, sustainability is there, long-term value is there, that it's connected to an authentic piece of your overall business, and you can really find a way to make a difference is super important to those sorts of efforts, in my opinion. Fantastic.
The shifting cultural landscape in America really hasn't been limited to race, right? We've seen dramatic shifts in how we are thinking about gender, even with regards to ability. And I was watching the documentary "The Last Dance" about Michael Jordan, and they talked about how one thing that Nike sort of stumbled on in the 80s was this idea that athletic footwear and athletic apparel really wasn't just in the realm of team sports. It really was having a cultural impact. People were really modeling this, and it was important for Nike to sort of engage when they were putting their messaging together to really engage that audience and show them to really hone in on that cultural aspect of athletic apparel. In some ways, I can see how it could be somewhat difficult to navigate. And in terms of those shifting cultural dynamics with regards to gender and ability and some of these other areas that we've seen, how have you attacked that with regards to how you present your products on the website, how you present your brands in terms of your customer touch points?
Yeah, I think that's a great call. I mean, certainly the industry is doing a ton of good work to be a little bit more inclusive in terms of how it gets after thinking through some of those cultural elements. And hey, look, we're talking about one thing related to the social justice movement, but there's a whole lot of work that we're doing as an organization, deeply connected into the female customer, which has been a large amount of our overall effort as an organization. We've actually seen significant growth on the women's side of the business and are doing some pretty tremendous things. So if you just take a look at the Eastbay business, we developed a number of specific content franchises on Eastbay that are connecting deeply into what the female customer is looking for today. So we have a empowerment platform that we've built in as a content franchise called Conquer, and we've worked with a number of different personalities to kind of bring them into the equation. We've got something on there that you can have an opportunity to look at with a woman by the name of Helen Maroulis, who is a female wrestler who's actually getting after her journey to go from going to the Tokyo Olympics, which is up and coming in the summer. So there's some great, good, inspiring content that we've been able to lean in with Helen Maroulis. On the champ side, we've also done a great body of work with our friends over at Nike with a new I would say campaign called Watch Me Glow, where we've brought in a number of other female athletes and personalities and influencers to kind of tell stories connected directly to that female customer. That's an opportunity for us to tell inspiring content in a new overall lane that we think is a huge opportunity for us to get after moving the needle on things that are of importance to the marketplace.
Great. So my last question for you is, Foot Locker is a business, right? It's a business after all. And I think, one tragic part of this conversation is that it's always been viewed as like, when we've talked about diversity in the past, we've always separated from the actual economic impact on organizations of those actions, which up until recently, there's started to be studies now that have come out that have talked about how embracing diversity at an organizational level is actually is telltale of success. Companies that have more diverse boards or more diverse executives tend to perform better, both financially and across their other mainline business metrics than others. So, just with regards to the specific things that you guys have done, what has been the business impact of those efforts, right? Of some of these programs.
Well, I mean, nothing but positive. I think our organization has done a tremendous job. I would consider the work that Foot Locker Inc. has done in general in terms of things related to diversity. It's racial and gender diversity that we've done a tremendous job in. So if you think about some of the members that are leading specific business units within Foot Locker Inc., and we got within the divisional aspect, we've got 2 women that are leading 2 big parts of our business. We've got 3 African Americans that are leading huge business units. We've got members of our board. We've been very intentional over the years to make sure that we've got a makeup in our board where we have very strong female representation. We have very strong racial representation in terms of African American representation that's on our board. If you take a look at the makeup of Foot Locker from the executive level, I think we've done an unbelievable job there too, in making sure that we've been very intentional on things related to having females of power within our organization. So we've done a job that has been tremendous. And you could say by all the work that we've done, we understand our customer in a way which is very unique. We can make sure that we are thinking intentionally about some of the things that are very important in today's world. And Foot Locker certainly has been very successful over that period of time. So the business certainly has not had any slowdown as a result of that. We certainly would say that there's been a huge upside in terms of how we can think and be more intentional on the things that we need to do, just bring the best people into the business, because that's what it's all about, that can enable us to move our business and overall mantra forward. So it's been a part of the Foot Locker makeup for quite some time. I'm certainly a proud member of that overall organization and some of the work that we've done there.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Guy. This has been a thoroughly enjoyable conversation. I truly hope that everyone has taken as much from this as I have. So thank you so much for your time, and thanks for attending and talking about managing through very tough cultural and external times in our world.
Naeem, thank you very much. I appreciate the time.